Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Nishit Kumar with the evening news. The headlines. India officially talks to Taliban, discusses safety, security and early evacuation of Indian citizens. Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurates web portal for registrations of units under new Central Sector Scheme 2021 for Jammu and Kashmir. Investment of more than 50,000 crore rupees expected to take place. India's GDP growth rebounds after COVID hit slump, grows 20.1% in first quarter of current fiscal. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says government is taking every step required to ramp up COVID-19 vaccination in the country. Country records highest number of vaccinations in one day, 1 crore 9 lakh vaccines administered across the country. Recovery rate reaches 97.53%. Flood situation in Bihar and Assam remains grim. Prime Minister Narendra Modi talks to Assam CM. Bihar Chief Minister conducts aerial survey to assess the damage. And in Tokyo Paralympics, Mariappan Thangavelu and Sharad Kumar win silver and bronze respectively in men's high jump. India's medal tally hits double digit. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is underway, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also help others get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact National Helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Ambassador of India to Qatar, Deepak Mittal, today met Sher Mohammad Abbas Tanikzai, the head of Taliban's political office in Doha. The meeting took place at the Embassy of India in Doha on the request of the Taliban side. The Ministry of External Affairs said the discussions focused on safety, security and early return of Indian nationals stranded in Afghanistan. It said the travel of Afghan nationals, especially minorities who wish to visit India, also came up. Ambassador Deepak Mittal raised India's concern that Afghanistan soil should not be used for anti-Indian activities and terrorism in any manner. The Taliban representative assured the ambassador that these issues would be positively addressed. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has constituted a high-level group comprising External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, National Security Advisor Jito Bhal and senior officials in view of the evolving situation in Afghanistan. Sources say this group has been meeting regularly over the last few days. The group is seized of issues pertaining to the safe return of stranded Indians and travel of Afghans, especially minorities, to India. The group also has to focus that Afghan territory is not used in any manner for terrorism directed against India. Our correspondent reports the group has also been monitoring the ground situation in Afghanistan and international reactions, including the resolution passed this morning by the UN Security Council. China has asked the Taliban to combat all forms of terrorist forces and form an open, inclusive government that follows moderate policies to get international recognition after the US troops left Afghanistan on Tuesday. Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin at a media briefing in Beijing criticized US military intervention in Afghanistan. However, when asked whether China is ready to recognize the Taliban as a legitimate authority in the country, Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin stopped short of saying it directly and hoped that Afghanistan can combat all forms of terrorist forces and live in harmony with other countries, live up to the aspiration of its own people and the international community.
Home Minister Amit Shah today inaugurated the web portal for registrations of units under the new Central Sector Scheme 2021 for Jammu and Kashmir. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Shah said, "It's a new dawn for investment and business development in Jammu and Kashmir. An investment of more than 50,000 crore rupees is now expected to take place there." He said after the abrogation of Article 370, Jammu and Kashmir is now on the track of development, peace and prosperity. Mr. Shah said grassroots level democracy has been strengthened with 3-tier panchayat elections in the union territory.
जम्मू कश्मीर विकास के रास्ते पर चल पड़ा है। धारा 370 और 35 से जाने के बाद जम्मू कश्मीर के अंदर रोजगारी और खुशहाली की एक नई शुरुआत होगी। ये नई जो औद्योगिक नीति, केंद्रीय क्षेत्र योजना, मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि अभी बताते थे कि ये 24,000 करोड़ की लाभ इसे उद्योग जगत को मिलेंगे, मगर मैं स्पष्ट करता हूं ये अनुमानित लाभ है। ये बहुत आगे तक जाएगा क्योंकि इन्वेस्टमेंट बढ़ने वाला है।
In his address, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said the beginning of online portal and rollout of central sector schemes is historic, and this mechanism would further improve ease of doing business and bring all-round transparency. He said once the chain of investment starts, other things will be added around it and a complete ecosystem will be created.
ये औद्योगिक विकास को ब्लॉक लेवल तक लेकर जाएगी जम्मू कश्मीर में, और लाखों लोगों को इसमें काम के अवसर तो मिलेंगे, पर अन्य अन्य क्षेत्रों में भी बड़ा विकास होगा, चाहे वो कृषि का क्षेत्र हो, चाहे पशुपालन हो, चाहे मत्स्य का क्षेत्र हो, हैंडीक्राफ्ट, टेक्सटाइल्स का क्षेत्र हो, अलग अलग जो वस्तु वहां से देश में और विदेश में जा सकते हैं उसको बल मिलेगा। और ये जो पोर्टल है, ये स्कीम को बड़ा इफेक्टिव तरीके से, बड़े अच्छी तरीके से, पारदर्शी तरीके से लोगों को इस स्कीम के साथ जुड़ने को मददगार साबित होगा।
The minister said the scheme will make Jammu and Kashmir self-reliant, developed and empowered. Minister of State in the PMO, Dr. Jitendra Singh, Minister of State for Home, Nityanand Rai, Ministers of State for Commerce and Industry, Som Prakash and Anupriya Patel were also present on the occasion. Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha joined the event virtually. This online portal has been designed and developed for effective implementation of the scheme in transparent manner and with the objective of ease of doing business.
Gross domestic product GDP of the country surged 20.1% in the April to June quarter of the current fiscal. According to the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation data released today, its best ever fiscal quarter numbers. GDP in the first quarter of 2021-22 is estimated at 32.38 lakh crore rupees at constant prices of 2011-12 as against 26.95 lakh crore rupees in the same period of last fiscal, showing a growth of 20.1%. The GDP logged a high growth amid opening of the economy after the lockdown to arrest COVID-19 and low base effect as the economy witnessed contraction of 24.4% in the first quarter of 2020-21 fiscal. The economic growth witnessed a significant improvement from a deep slump last year, helped by accelerated manufacturing in spite of a devastating second wave of coronavirus infections. Chief Economic Advisor Krishnamurthy Subramanian has said that GDP data for the first quarter reaffirms the government's prediction of an imminent V-shaped recovery made last year. Briefing media this evening, Mr. Subramanian said the banking sector has now developed a cushion to withstand impending bad loans. He said inflation is expected to be in 5 to 6% range going forward. The Chief Economic Advisor said India is poised for stronger growth from structural reforms, government capex push and rapid inoculation.
Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said the government is taking every step required to ramp up COVID-19 vaccination in the country. She said vaccination will give the people of the country a scientifically tested immunity against the variants of coronavirus. Ms. Sitharaman was addressing a webinar on Resurgent India, Building Healthcare Infrastructure for New India. She said the vaccination is nearly a sure-shot protection against COVID-19. However, the government is still insisting on following of COVID protocols like wearing of mask and maintaining social distancing. She added the government is reviving the pandemic-affected economy and it is also reviving the economy in context of the possible third wave of COVID-19. The Finance Minister said the government is implementing loan guarantee scheme for COVID-affected sectors so that hospitals can enhance facilities like beds and devices.
Loan guarantee scheme is to take care of nearly 70% of the requirement of be ready for a possible third wave. We need to have tier 2, tier 3 towns, municipalities, and also some of the rural areas which may have the capacity of some hospital, but without them having the right kind of equipments, people in that area will tend to crowd the hospitals in the metropolitan towns.
India administered another 1 crore COVID-19 vaccines today. For the second time, India has crossed 1 crore vaccination in a single day. Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia said highest one-day record of 1.09 crore vaccine doses was achieved till 6 p.m. today and is still counting. He said under the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India is fighting strongly against the corona. Mr. Mandavia congratulated the people for the achievement. The Minister said 36,275 COVID patients recovered during the last 24 hours and the national recovery rate has reached 97.53%.
In Odisha, the weekend shutdown presently imposed in capital Bhubaneswar, Cuttack and Puri on account of COVID-19 has been lifted. The Special Relief Commissioner Pradeep Kumar Jaina today announced a slew of relaxations in COVID-induced restrictions in the state for the coming month. More from our Bhubaneswar correspondent.
With the gradual reduction in COVID-19 infection, the state government today allowed further relaxation that includes the lifting of weekend shutdown in the twin cities of Cuttack and Bhubaneswar and the holy city of Puri. Besides, the night curfew will now be imposed from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. While the government has raised the upper cap of participants in marriage functions from 50 to 250, cinema halls can now run to their full capacities. Likewise, visitors to the malls and restaurants will no longer have to produce their COVID-19 vaccination certificate to gain access. However, as the virus is only down and not fully out, the state government continues with a ban on all forms of social, political and cultural congregations and exhibitions while appealing to the citizen to continue to observe COVID-appropriate behavior. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
Many state governments are planning to reopen schools and educational institutions from tomorrow as COVID-19 cases are declining. The institutions in the national capital will reopen in 2 phases as announced by the Delhi government. From tomorrow, schools will reopen for classes 9th to 12th, while those for standards 6th to 8th are expected to restart from the 8th of September. As per guidelines issued by the Delhi Disaster Management Authority, maximum 50% attendance will be allowed. Briefing reporters in New Delhi, Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia said no student will be forced to attend school and consent of parents is mandatory. The Tamil Nadu government has also announced that physical classes will resume from the 1st of September for students in standards 9th to 12th. Initially, the classes will be held with 50% capacity. In Rajasthan also, schools will reopen for the first time since April 2020. All colleges will restart in Meghalaya, along with schools for classes 9th to 12th in urban areas. In rural areas, on-campus lectures will recommence for standards 6th to 12th. Offline classes will begin for standards 6th to 8th from the 2nd of September, as announced by the state government on the 25th of August.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. India officially talks to Taliban, discusses safety, security and early evacuation of Indian citizens. Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurates web portal for registrations of units under the new Central Sector Scheme 2021 for Jammu and Kashmir. Investment of more than 50,000 crore rupees expected to take place. India's GDP growth rebounds after COVID had slumped, grows 20.1% in the first quarter of the current fiscal. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says government is taking every step required to ramp up COVID-19 vaccination in the country. Country records highest number of vaccinations in one day. 1 crore 9 lakh vaccines administered across the country. Recovery rate reaches 97.53%. Flood situation in Bihar and Assam remains grim. Prime Minister Narendra Modi talks to Assam CM. Bihar Chief Minister conducts aerial survey to assess the damage. And in Tokyo Paralympics, Mariappan Thangavelu and Sharad Kumar wins silver and bronze respectively in the men's high jump. India's medal tally hits double digit. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा
भारत के स्वतंत्रता संग्राम में अनगिनत स्वतंत्रता सेनानियों ने अपने प्राणों की आहुति दी। कुछ इतिहास में अमर हो गए और कई गुमनाम। आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के अंतर्गत 75 कड़ियों की श्रृंखला में हम उन वीरांगनाओं की बात करेंगे जिनका योगदान कभी भुलाया नहीं जा सकता। प्रत्येक मंगलवार परिक्रमा में सुनिए अपराजिता, देश की वीरांगनाओं को आकाशवाणी का सादर नमन।
Welcome back to the evening news. Expressing concern over the rising disruptions in legislatures and the declining quality of the country's parliamentary democracy, Vice President and Chairman Rajya Sabha M. Venkaiah Naidu today called for a people's movement to influence the conduct of 5,000 MPs, MLAs and MLCs in the law-making bodies for making a difference from the present. Delivering the first Pranab Mukherjee Memorial Lecture through video conferencing on the occasion of the first death anniversary of the former president, Mr. Naidu spoke at length on the consequences of disruptions and dysfunctional legislatures. The theme of the lecture was Constitutionalism, Guarantor of Democracy and Inclusive Growth, and it was organized by the Pranab Mukherjee Legacy Foundation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will release a special commemorative coin of 125 rupees and address the gathering on the occasion of the 125th birth anniversary of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ji tomorrow evening through video conferencing. Union Culture Minister G. Kishan Reddy will also be present on the occasion. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada founded the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, commonly known as the Hare Krishna movement. ISKCON has translated Srimad Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic literature in 89 languages, playing a stellar role in dissemination of Vedic literature across the world.
In Tripura, the BJP-led Biplab Kumar Dev government has expanded cabinet by inducting 3 new ministers today. The oath-taking ceremony was held at the Raj Bhavan. The newly inducted ministers are Ram Prasad Paul, Sushant Chaudhary from West Tripura district and Bhagwan Das from Unakoti district. This is the first time the Biplab Kumar Dev cabinet has expanded post 3.5 years after the BJP-led government was sworn in Tripura in 2018. With the new 3 members, the Tripura cabinet now has 11 ministers' strength. Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh today distributed e-cart waste collection vehicles to various urban local bodies, ULBs of the state, at a solemn function held at Imphal. E-cart waste collection vehicles are procured under the Project Management of Solid Waste on Regional Basis Cluster B in Manipur under NLCPR scheme funded by the Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region, Government of India. The total cost of the project is Rs 13.52 crores. 75 e-carts are being given to the 7 urban local bodies of Manipur today.
News just in, Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to President of the European Council, Charles Michel, this evening about the evolving situation in Afghanistan. Mr. Modi and Mr. Michel also reiterated their commitment to further strengthening India-European Union relations. As part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations to commemorate 75th year of independence, Union Minister of Ayush Sarbanand Sonowal along with 6 Union ministers will launch the Yoga Break, Y Break mobile application at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi tomorrow. The 5-minute yoga break protocol consists of a very useful yoga practices devised to de-stress, refresh and refocus on work to increase the productivity of individuals at the workplace. The concept of yoga break is relevant to working professionals across the world. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events are being organized by the government as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Jan Utsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The quiz is being conducted every Monday and Tuesday in morning news since the 16th of August and will continue till the 15th of August 2022. India Post has joined hands as the logistics partner with All India Radio News for the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. Recalling our yesterday's question, which freedom fighter was popularly known as Master Da? The correct answer is Surya Sen, a revolutionary from Bengal who was affectionately known as Master Da. AIR News got an overwhelming response from its listeners across the world, and the one lucky winner of the quiz is Sajit Kumar V from Kanhangad, Kerala. Listeners can send their responses to the question over WhatsApp on 8826546262. Repeat, 8826546262. Or through email on amritmahotsavquiz@gmail.com. Repeat, amritmahotsavquiz@gmail.com. One lucky participant will be selected as a winner and will be announced in tomorrow's morning news. Winner will be awarded an e-certificate and a token prize. Azadi Ka Safar every day with All India Radio from Monday the 16th of August. As part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, News Services Division of All India Radio brings to you the story of glorious struggle and sacrifices of freedom fighters on 100.1 FM Gold channel in the English news bulletins at 8:30 a.m., 2 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Stay tuned. Let's listen now to our special program Azadi Ka Safar.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest movements the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
In today's episode, we will bring you the story of a great but unsung revolutionary freedom fighter, Kanhai Lal Datta, who was born on this day in 1888 in Chandan Nagar of undivided Bengal. He was associated with nationalist Jugantar Group, which was one of the two main secret revolutionary organizations operating in Bengal for Indian independence at that time. Kanhai Lal made the ultimate sacrifice for the cause of his motherland at the youthful age of 20 years.
Arrested along with at least 40 other revolutionaries by the British in 1908 in connection with the Muzaffarpur bomb attack that aimed to kill the cruel British judge Douglas. He was convicted a few months later along with his friend Satyendranath Bose for the assassination of Narendranath Gosain, a revolutionary turned approver for the British colonial administration.
Gosain's revelations to the British police led to framing of charges against many freedom fighters. Thus, to avenge the revolutionaries, Satyendranath and Kanhai Lal shot Gosain from a revolver smuggled into the prison. Kanhai Lal's statement to the district magistrate about his motive for assassinating Narendranath was touchingly direct and simple. He stated that he indeed killed Narendranath because he was a traitor to the country.
A day before Kanhai Lal's hanging, the British jail warden found Kanhai Lal with a smiling face and retorted that all his smiles would disappear the next day when he would be taken to the gallows. Next morning on the gallows, Kanhai Lal smiled at the warden and asked him about the conversation of the day prior. His fearlessness left the warden speechless. On the morning of November 10, 1908, Kanhai Lal was executed at the Alipur jail in Kolkata.
Years after the death of Kanhai Lal, Motilal Roy published a memorial booklet on Kanhai Lal Datta in Bengali from Chandan Nagar town, which was under French occupation that time and beyond British jurisdiction. It was immediately banned by the British under Sea Customs Act of 1878, which prohibited any objectionable materials from being transported into British territories. In that book, Motilal recalled the sight of Kanhai Lal's body on the funeral pyre. He said that Kanhai's face had an ascetic calm, and nowhere on his body were there any ugly wrinkle showing the pain of the death.
The execution of Kanhai Lal aroused great commotion in public life, and the witness accounts of his final moments before martyrdom became legend. The nationalistic zeal of Kanhai Lal provided a spark to many great Bengali revolutionaries, including Bagha Jatin, Rash Bihari Bose, Master Das Surya Sen, and his group of nationalist warriors. India is forever indebted to the selfless service and sacrifice of the martyrs like Kanhai Lal Datta.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in next episode tomorrow.
The Sensex and the Nifty today hit fresh record highs. Both stocks climbed more than 0.5% amid positive global cues. The Sensex closed above 57,300 while the Nifty ended above 17,000 level. The rupee also logged robust gains to close around 73 rupees per dollar mark. In Assam, flood situation continues to be grim, with 21 districts of the state being affected due to incessant rains in Arunachal Pradesh and the neighbouring country Bhutan. The Central Water Commission reported that water level has crossed the danger mark in several districts and is rising in Barpeta, Dhubri and Kamrup districts. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today spoke to Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma and took stock of the flood situation in parts of the state. Mr. Modi assured him of all possible support from the centre to help mitigate the situation. He also prayed for the safety and well-being of those living in the affected areas. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar today conducted an aerial survey of flood-affected areas of the state to assess the damage caused by the prevailing floods. Mr. Kumar made an aerial survey of the flood-affected Darbhanga and Madhubani districts to take stock of the situation arising out of floods. The Chief Minister also visited flood-affected Kusheshwar Sthan area in Darbhanga district on boat. Nitish Kumar visited relief camps and community kitchen centres to oversee ongoing relief works. After visiting flood-affected areas, Mr. Kumar said Rs 6,000 is being given to each of the flood-affected family.
In a double delight for India in men's high jump T42 event this evening at the Tokyo Paralympics, Mariyappan Thangavelu has won the silver medal while Sharat Kumar clinched the bronze. With this, India's medal tally at the Paralympics touched an unprecedented 10. India now have 2 gold, 5 silver and 3 bronze medals, whereas China is on top of the table with 60 gold, followed by Britain with 29 gold medals. President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Sports Minister Anurag Thakur have congratulated Mariyappan Thangavelu and Sharat Kumar on winning silver and bronze medals in men's high jump at the Tokyo Paralympics. They said the entire country is proud of their feat.
And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain or thundershower with possibility of heavy rain at isolated places. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. Chennai is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. All the northeastern cities will have generally cloudy sky with few spells of rain or thunderstorm. Port Blair will have generally cloudy sky. And Bengaluru will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thundershowers. Temperature will hover between 20 and 29 degrees Celsius. Thiruvananthapuram will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thundershowers.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. India officially talks to Taliban, discusses safety, security and early evacuation of Indian citizens. Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurates web portal for registrations of units under new Central Sector Scheme 2021 for Jammu and Kashmir. Investment of more than 50,000 crore rupees expected to take place. India's GDP growth rebounds after COVID hit slump, grows 20.1% in first quarter of current fiscal. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says government is taking every step required to ramp up COVID-19 vaccination in the country. Country records highest number of vaccinations in one day, 1,09,00,000 vaccines administered across the country. Recovery rate reaches 97.53%. Flood situation in Bihar and Assam remains grim. Prime Minister Narendra Modi talks to Assam CM. Bihar Chief Minister conducts aerial survey to assess the damage. In Tokyo Paralympics, Mariyappan Thangavelu and Sharat Kumar win silver and bronze respectively in men's high jump. India's medal tally hits double digits. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.